Alright, so welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm talking about Essential St. Martin's BA graduate collection. And this is quite interesting because during the quarantine, as you guys know, a lot of the design students had to actually make their collection from their house. So it's been really interesting to see all the editorial videos that a lot of graduates have shown, as well as the skills that they have been able to show even making collections at home. So in today's video, we are specifically talking about Alexandra Sipa, and she is a UK-based, Romanian-born and raised fashion designer. And of course, as the title suggests, she just graduated from CSM, hence why I'm reviewing her BA fashion show. And despite being young, she has a very, very steep resume. I mean, she's interned at Balenciaga, she's interned at Asai, she's interned at Oscar de la Renta, and she's also been a BFC and Swarovski scholar. So she has a very, very impressive resume. So Alexandra titled this collection Romanian Camouflage, which is very interesting because she referenced a lot of her Romanian heritage in this collection. And there were a lot of different things that was kind of used as a social commentary to talk about sustainability and the issues of sustainability and the environmental impact of the fashion industry. So reading the press release of her collection, as I said earlier, it's titled Romanian Camouflage. And it says, "Why is waste dismissed so fast when there is so much potential in it? Waste is becoming a global and environmental problem, and the fastest growing source of waste is electronic waste, reaching 50 million tons worldwide in 2020. Titled Romanian Camouflage, the graduate collection of Alexandra Sipa, who gained design experience at Balenciaga, Oscar de la Renta and Asai, driven by the contrast between heightened austerity and extreme femininity in Romania, motivated to create innovative luxury textiles from waste, simultaneously engaging with both cultural and physical waste. Hybridized traditional Romanian lace making with common Western techniques. Lace dress, ruffle coat, vest, and bag made of discarded electrical wires, sourced from London Recycling Centre, Great Eastern Waste. Adapting lace making techniques due to thickness and pliancy of wires. Blouse is made from discarded fabrics from factories in Bacău, Romania. Tailored Romanian charity shop beach towels coat, and a hat with lace insert, embroidery, and oversized faux fur trimmed jersey collar." So essentially in her press release, she's really just explained kind of the details of each garment, which I'll get into much later. So a very interesting story is that Alexandra was actually inspired to make this collection after one of her phone chargers broke, which is really interesting because maybe she was thinking that, why would I throw this like wire away just because it's broken? Like, surely there's a use for this. And it's quite interesting that just her phone charger breaking would kind of lead her into thinking of how she could repurpose wires in a fashion way. That's quite interesting. And I also read that she actually also got inspired by her grandmother, because her grandmother was a very resourceful person and used to make decorations out of just anything she had and anything that was available. So I found that quite interesting. What I find even more impressive is that every single thing in this collection, apart from the lace dress, was actually made in her London flat, which is totally insane because, I mean, if you go to CSM, there's probably going to be way more equipment and sewing machines and all types of stuff that you don't have access to at home. So the fact that she could still produce a collection of this quality at home is extremely impressive. Like I said, this collection was a commentary on sustainability. And in one of her interviews, she had a really, really big statement about sustainability, which I'll read out to you. It's a bit of a long one, but it's really, really relevant when talking about this collection. So Alexandra said, "My graduate collection was driven by my motivation to create innovative luxury textiles from waste. I use wires to develop garments and accessories by hybridizing multiple lace making techniques, both traditional Romanian techniques and popular Western techniques. I don't want my work to simply be pretty for the sake of being pretty. Waste is becoming a global environmental problem. Unfortunately, fashion, the industry and medium I love since I was young, is often one of the worst offenders in relation to climate emergency. I believe that change is coming. The industry is becoming aware of the urgency for change due to the climate emergency and the increasing demand from consumers for more sustainable options. And I mean, I totally agree. I've made videos in the past about sustainability. I even have some stats here. And by 2050, it is actually predicted that there will be 150 million metric tons of clothes in landfills, which is insane. And in terms of electrical waste, there is 20 to 50 million metric tons worldwide of electrical waste every year, which is an insane amount of waste. And it's just crazy that all that stuff goes to landfills and there's no way that people have found to repurpose these things, so we're not just destroying the planet slowly. So looking at this collection, there were 4 main looks, but I think what I was really thinking was, I'm really wondering what the comfortability of these garments are, especially the ones that were made with wires, because it's a very, very interesting application, but I want to know how that also feels on the body. Looking at look 1, it's called the discarded electrical wires lace dress. And I think the first thing that stood out to me with this dress is the fit. The fit is absolutely amazing. I have no idea what wizardry Alexandra used to make wires fit that good. How do you possibly weave wires in a way that it drapes on the body that way? I have no idea. And when I go back to the show notes, she said that she hybridized traditional Romanian lace making with common Western techniques. And I think this is really clear to see. On her Instagram page, she actually has a couple of inspo pictures where you can kind of see places she gets her inspiration from. And in part of those pictures, there are different types of lace. There's like Romanian lace, there's the more common lace techniques. And I like how she fused it. And I like how if you go through her Instagram, you can kind of see her thinking and her thought process, and you can kind of see the development of it into the garment. There are also many of her inspo pictures that look like these kind of like ceramic sculptures. And the dress very much mimics the dress of the sculpture, which I find is really interesting. And it just shows you can pull inspiration from everywhere. Like nowadays, people just reference each other, but you can literally reference something like a ceramic doll. So the second look has many different elements to it. There's the discarded electrical wires lace vest. There's a factory remnants blouse. And there's a discarded electrical wires lace ball bag. And going back to the show notes, it literally says that the blouse was made from discarded fabrics from factories in Romania, which means that she got secondhand fabrics, like already used fabrics from Romania. And then of course she sourced the electrical wires from the London Recycling Centre, which is so interesting because another thing I've always had with sustainability is a lot of companies or designers in general, when they make sustainable garments, it doesn't look nice, but their whole selling point is, well, at least it's sustainable. So I'm a huge fan of when people make extremely good garments that are also sustainable, because it just shows that we don't have to compromise aesthetic just because something is sustainable. And that's where I'm a big fan of her work, because if you look at the shape and the silhouette and the fit of this blouse that she made, it's absolutely impeccable. And she's designed it in a way where she makes the archive fabric look very luxe. The discarded electrical wire vest is a really good touch in my opinion because of the way it's styled. I really love the way it's styled, and it's more of a practical piece than the dress because I don't know how it feels on the body, and this is something I might come to find out later when I'm finally able to maybe touch some of the garments. But what I love about this vest, and it even shows by the way it's styled, you can wear this vest over garments, which means that you can get the aesthetic, but at the same time, you're not necessarily gonna get an uncomfortable feeling of the fabric of the wires. She of course also made a kind of lace ball bag that she made of the discarded electrical wires. And it's quite interesting, and I like that she's also making accessories with the wires. And I saw on her Instagram page, she also had a ring that was made with these discarded wires. So I really, really like that. So I really like that she's managed to find a way to use these wires for various applications. I think that's just insane. Look 3 has a tailored coat and a hat. And the coat is made, and the hat, of course, made by a mixture of a multitude of materials. So there are beach towels from Romanian charity shops, mint green lace inserts, faux fur trimmings from a vintage coat. All the embroidery you see on this look was actually in collaboration with another student at CSM, someone who's Alexandra's friend. someone called Lynn. And I'm very aware that when you study at Central St. Martin's, they do encourage you to collaborate with people in different courses. So I really like that in this collection, I can kind of see that coming to fruition, and I can see that in a practical form, and I can see a physical example of what happens when students that study different things collaborate on a certain garment. So definitely some amazing work by Lynn. I'm gonna link Lynn's Instagram. Definitely check Lynn out. The embroidery was just amazing. This is very difficult to mix this many different fabrics and actually make it look wearable or even nice, remotely nice in any way. So I'm also very impressed with how she was able to get these obscure fabrics, secondhand fabrics as well, and kind of transform it into a garment that actually looks aesthetically pleasing and does actually look quite luxury. And the hat even reminds me of, you know, the Russian fur hats. That's the first thing that came to mind when I saw this hat. And look 4, which is the main attraction in my opinion, is called the Discarded Electrical Wires Lace Ruffle Coat. And honestly, this ruffle coat, just the way it looks, I have absolutely no idea how she managed to achieve that look and how the garment, it stays in place and it's very stiff with wires. I have no idea. Like, I'm lost for words. I have no idea. And if you go back to the images on her Instagram, the inspo images, you can clearly see that this ruffle coat was a reinterpretation of one of those ceramic sculptures. But the execution was through the roof. The execution was amazing. And once again, I'm just lost for words on how you can create a ruffle coat, as she calls it, that looks like this with electrical wires. I have no idea how you do that. All I can say about it is I'm impressed. That's literally all I can say. I actually didn't play the music of her video for copyright reasons. But what I will do is I will put a link to her website in the description below, and you guys can click it and watch the video with sound on her website, and you guys can listen to the music. But when I was watching the video, I couldn't help but realize that the song sounded very cohesive, and it seemed like there was something I was missing in terms of the music in relation to the collection. So I did ask her if there was any correlation, and what she did say was that when she first chose it was because it sounded good, but as time went on and as she continuously kept listening to the song, she felt it was less random. And then she told me that the song is in Romanian and it's called, I'm not gonna pronounce that, but it's on the screen. But she said the rough translation of this word is Uneven Trees by Adrian Enescu and produced by her dad. And she said the lyrics at some point are something like, I lost sometimes too much, only to slowly find it in bits later. And the collection is really about me not learning about my culture or my past for so long, dismissing it, only to come back to it now and pay respects to the way I grew up through this collection. She also said she tried to present a part of Romanian culture that wasn't really represented in the UK, a wealthy, funny, prosperous side, as a counter-narrative to the way the British media has portrayed Romanians over the years. And I know exactly what she means, because in the UK, Romanians are portrayed as lower class. Romanians in the UK are portrayed as people that leave Romania, that come to the UK for greener pastures and come here to do like all the low income jobs, and Romanians just come to England and take any job, which is true to an extent. Like, it's true for like where I'm from, Nigeria. It's true for many minority groups. However, the problem with the narrative is it then makes it seem like there's no other type of Romanian that exists. So I know exactly what she means and how she feels, where she wants to portray kind of a higher class type of Romanian, which is a different side of the coin to what we're used to in the UK. And I just like the duality of references in this collection, from the Romanian references, like some of the lace techniques, to the music and how that has relevance to the collection, and then also the commentary aspect of it, to the more normal things like the other lace techniques or the embroidery or the actual silhouettes of the garments. But of course, as this is a graduate collection, there aren't loads of looks to unpack. However, I did think that it was important to make this video because there are a lot of graduates who are making amazing stuff right now. And Alexandra is definitely one of those people that I hope to see do big things in the fashion industry in the coming years. I also read that she is looking for various applications for the electrical wires, even past fashion. So she's not just using it to kind of make dresses and make garments, she's also thinking of how she can reuse wires for applications that could be in tech or different things even outside of fashion, which is so amazing to see that she cares so much about sustainability and reusing products and materials that have been discarded. And I mean, you can only commend that. But anyway, I'll link all her social media in the description below. You guys should definitely follow her on Instagram and follow her work in the coming months. Shout out to Michael Tandy, because it was Michael Tandy who told me to check her work out. And then when I checked it out, of course, I was like, yeah, this is really amazing. I need to make a video on this. So definitely subscribe to Michael Tandy. He's another fashion YouTuber. He makes really, really good videos. And yeah, on that note, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and really, I really want people to comment down below what their thoughts are on this collection. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon if you want to support the channel and if you just want some extra content. More information for that is in the description below. And on that note, I'll be back with another video very soon.